Alrighty, so Exodus 10, Exodus 4, verse 10. Let's go ahead and read the text together, okay? Ready? Vayomer Moshe El Adonai, Bi Adonai, Lo Ish Devarim Anohi, Gam Mitzamol, Gam Mishil Shom, Gam Me'az. Oh, hold on, we gotta get all the way down here. Dabercha El Avdecha, Ki Kavad He U Kavad Lashon Anohi. Alrighty. So, where do we want to start today? Let's start with Yvonne. Have you begin here? And if you could, please, why don't you go to there. And then, Nicholas, if you could go from the Gam to, you can go to the end. So nice and loud so we all can hear.
Okay. Then Moses said to the Lord, "O my Lord, I am not eloquent."
Okay, I think that's where yours ends. All right, Nicholas.
Nor have I been since, neither since in the past, since you have spoken to your servant, but I am slow of speech and slow of tongue.
Okay, good. So I have a but here. Anybody have a different gloss for that key?
For or because.
That.
If you say because or if you say surely.
Okay, so there could be a but, there could be a for, surely, or indeed. I heard that. Would the that work well here?
I treat it more as causal because.
Okay, yeah. That is a possibility for a key after a verb of speech or mental activity, but here that doesn't seem to be in view. These others are possibilities. So if you go with but, what type of a key is that called?
Disjunctive.
Yeah. What's my Williams syntax going to do with that? Adversative.
Oh, adversative.
It'd be an adversative. If I have indeed or surely, that one also starts with an A. Asseverative. I have no idea why I'm wandering around over here.
Because you're used to standing over there.
I know what it is. I'm looking for something to keep my big 70-pound Bible from sliding down the podium. That's what I was thinking right there. Okay, so for would be what? Semantic value, explanatory or causal. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Which one do you think makes the best sense here?
Probably causal.
Yeah, you think that he's explaining why he's making the assertion that he's not?
Well, he said I'm not a man of words because.
Mm-hmm. I have
this problem with my mouth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that's probably the best.
So causal.
Yeah. Where do you often see a key here? You do see it usually after a negative clause. Something is not or won't be the case, but or rather this will be, right? And so he did say, "I'm not this," rather this is the case. So that's also a possibility too. Yes.
Hey, sir, some people have said that Moses stuttered. Is that a reason why he was telling God, "I am slow of speech and slow
Well, some suggest that he stutters because he says this.
Yes, sir.
So it's hard to know whether Moses is actually being honest about this or not.
It seems like later on, it seems like he's like maybe he is a little bit, but it seems like he might be kind of like scared and lying a little bit. He seems to be kind of have a lying tongue.
Well, Stephen
with some of
says,
his.
Stephen claims that Moses was trained and eloquent all the way to
Yes.
the Egyptians,
Mm-hmm.
which is exactly what he needs to speak to Pharaoh. So that's
Yeah.
also just, I think, rabbinic teachings maybe.
Yeah. My supposition is that he is hyperbolically self-deprecating because he's trying to get out of the job assignment. Which is interesting because he tried to take it on before God called him earlier, didn't he?
What was he trying to? Yeah, I see him trying to take it on, but I also see him acting impulsively there.
Well,
I
possibly. Well, what he's going to say next is rather impulsive,
yes.
even more than this.
Would there have been
After
any way
gum,
to-
there
Hold on a second. What's that, Tay?
Would there have been any way to describe in the text that he was stuttering or that he had trouble?
Well, there are some terms. There are some terms for that to talk about stammering and stuttering.
Is in my root paper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, but
Yeah.
there's actual terms for like filler words like us and likes, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But let me go back real quickly to one other thing, and Nicholas gave us a New Living Translation gloss for Gam Mitamol Vagam Mishil Show, and that was just in the past, right?
Yesterday.
What literally are these terms? Well, first of all, what's the mem here on the word tamol?
It'd be like from yesterday.
From.
Yeah, this is men, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've got men. You see what happened to the noon here?
Similar.
It's assimilated to the tav. So it's tamol is the expression. Min tamol becomes mit tamol. That shiva is vocal. Don't forget that. Okay. Dagish fortes with shivas underneath are always vocal.
Okay, so it'd be mitmal.
Mit tamol.
Yeah.
Mit tamol.
And then okay, it's like from. The idea is like from yesterday. That would be like literally
Yeah.
What
like
he's saying.
from yesterday, meaning like since yesterday. is
since yesterday.
Typically.
Like,
what
but
the
really
men
he's
means
saying
there.
recently.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying,
Well, okay, let's finish out the expression because you got to read all these together.
Yeah.
So mitzamol is from
yesterday.
yesterday, and mishilshom is
The day before yesterday.
is the day before yesterday. So that's what's that root related to? The shin.
That's from
Yeah,
the word
shin,
three.
lamed, shin. Yes, shalosh is 3. Okay, so you have to count the day it's being said. The yesterday is the second day. The day before yesterday is 3 away. Okay, so he's saying neither yesterday nor the day before, or neither 2 days ago nor 3 days ago. And this is an interesting expression for saying really any time in the past. Okay, so I don't know if you've heard the expression. Phyllis taught me this. Phyllis, not Diller. Phyllis. What was Phyllis's last name? She took our Hebrew classes. Oh goodness.
I don't remember her last name.
Yeah, she was sweet, and she used the expression once. She said, "Oh yeah, I've been a student for about 5 minutes or something like that." And what she meant was, I've been a student for a long time. But she used this short expression
Oh, she
for something,
She would,
or like
the
since
dimin-
5
she went
minutes
for
ago, or something like that.
She used a diminutive for
Mhm.
for superlative.
What's her last
Right.
name?
Almost kind of like how the Welsh
That's,
was.
I'm better. No, that's the poet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, never
Oh, Phyllis
mind.
Wheatley.
Yes.
That's Phyllis Wheatley, right?
Yeah, the poet.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Anyhow,
Whenever I hear the
we never called her by her
I
last
just think
name,
that the
so now it's
opposite of
escaping.
Phyllis
Good old Phyllis. She is the perpetual student.
Phyllis Vance.
Oh man, it's a magic refrigeration.
Oh my god.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go on if there's not any burning grammatical question here.
Yeah. So
You do have one?
no, I just think that the phrasing is so interesting. The recently and from before.
Mm-hmm. Oh
From
yeah.
the day before.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting. But if you one thing you have to be careful about is you might look up the words and say, okay, well that word refers to yesterday and this word refers to the day before. But then you have to ask yourself, is this literally referring to yesterday and the day before? Or is this a situation where terms have both a denotation and a connotation? And it's the connotation that we're dealing with here, right? We're dealing with a concrete expression being used for something, figurative or metaphorical and generically referring to times past.
I'm trying to think of a word, basically the concept, like the phrase, I'm going to knock your block off, doesn't mean I'm going to knock your block off. It means I'm going to hit you in the head. I don't remember what the term I'm looking for there is. Basically, it's I can't think of it. It'll probably come to me in 10 minutes, and I'll blurt it out, and y'all look at me like I'm crazy.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a metaphor, right? The block is representing the head on somebody, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But knocking it off, you're not literally going to do that, but you're going to hit them so hard that it might happen. I think is the idea.
That they thought it did.
Yeah. Yeah. But we live by metaphors. That's one of the things that George Lakoff talked about. He's a cognitive linguist who used expressions for warfare, which have been borrowed in as conceptual metaphors for argumentation. So when you think about all the terms that you use for debate, they actually are rooted in the concrete language of warfare. And they've sort of been stretched. So you demolish arguments, for example. You decimate somebody. You slaughter them in a debate. There's just all kinds of expressions that we use that are rooted in concrete things, but they are metaphors. But we use them so frequently, we don't think about the fact that they've become metaphors.
We say the same thing about baseball games or football games too. We totally demolish these things.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, okay, let's look at 11 here, and we'll read this one together, and then we'll just translate from here on out. Ready? Vayomer Adonai Elav Misham. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Eli. That's Elav. You're right. Thank you. So let's start there. Elav Misham Pe La Adam O Mi Yasum Ilaim O Cheresh O Pikeach O Iwer Halo Anohi Adonai. Yeah.
So many.
Very.
Okay. So let's go back and Jade, let's have you go. Let's see. Where does that end? Okay.
Just do the whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Jade. Why not?
Okay.
It's really hard to break this one up anywhere.
And the Lord said to him, trying to do this not how the Bible usually translates it. Who placed mouth on man, or who made man's mouth? I mean, that's how they usually do it. Or who made the mute or the deaf, those seeing or able to see, or the blind. Is it not I, the Lord?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. Yes.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of in this list of disabilities, you have the mute, you have the deaf, and then you have the seeing and the blind. Why is the seeing there? That's like not a disability. Like the other three are all disabilities, and then you have seeing.
So yeah, so
Able
dumb
to
or
see.
mute, deaf,
Yeah.
seeing, right, and blind.
Seeing and blind.
Mhm.
Or deaf, or seeing, or blind. It just kind of like broke the flow in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't quite sure why seeing was there. I tried to think about like seeing maybe being some sort of like I looked up like the definitions of it, and I couldn't really see anything
Yeah.
that would make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Was someone?
He just couldn't see. He said I couldn't see anything.
Oh, I couldn't see
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Right. Nice. Yeah, no, so here's a situation where you would want to be careful to say, okay, I have 4 words that that express physical ability or lack thereof. 3 out of the 4 are lack of ability, and this one is positive. But since the other 3 are overwhelmingly negative, I might be tempted to try to find some negative connotation for this 3rd out of the 4.
Yeah.
And you want to ask yourself, am I being invited to think this way, but not to the point where you make it say something because you think it should, right? Yeah. And this is a situation where I would say, no, I think you need to leave this as a positive, right? And just say, okay, God is in charge of both the abilities and the disabilities here. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I would just
right?
think that if I were the author, I would have added some more abilities in there. Like for
Yeah.
deaf, I would have been hearing,
Mm-hmm.
or for the mute, being able speaking,
Yeah,
speaking or dumb,
Exactly.
hearing or deaf. But it's just weird to me that this is the only contrast
Right.
in the verse here. It just seems kind of if I guess I like to have things ordered in a certain way.
Right.
Patterns and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
kind of bothers my OCD a little bit.
I know.
Yeah.
It's hard. You do have seeing and blind, so they're contrastive in that way, right? Positive and negative.
Yeah.
And you might view those as opposites, right?
Yeah.
I can see versus I can't.
Mm-hmm.
This second set, their relationship is actually more of a reciprocal rather than an antonym,
Yeah.
antonymic.
Yeah.
Reciprocal.
Like one kind of there. Yeah.
Right? You've got the person who can't hear and the person who can't talk.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a kind of contrast. They're not technically opposites of each other because the opposite of an ear is not a mouth.
Yeah.
Right? But you need a mouth for an ear to work in the sense of communicating, right?
Or in some respects, you need the ear so the mouth can work.
Mm-hmm. Right. So there is a certain kind of relationship that the first 2 have to each other.
Yeah.
That I think is the first set of a 2-set kind of
Okay. That makes sense.
pattern, but it's not the same pattern.
And we are talking about the fact that he's going to give Moses the ability or improve his ability to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have that implied contrast between dumb and what he says he will do for Moses.
Yeah. It is interesting that what he goes to here is he goes to the most extreme hyperbolic kind of negative situation and is saying, look, you're just telling me that your mouth is heavy. But imagine if you couldn't talk. Guess what? You're still a candidate for God to do something. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
I had another question, if that's okay.
all right, you get one more for the day.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
For me, Yasum,
Mm-hmm.
I translated that. I think Jay translated it as "for who made."
Mm-hmm.
I translated it as "for who makes,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Yeah, who
imperfect.
makes- Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I know that you don't have to translate it, and you probably shouldn't.
I agree with Charlie. It should probably be more imperfect. Not
Yeah.
past
Or
tense.
who makes versus why is the imperfect used here?
Yeah.
Because
No,
of the-
this is great. So both of
Yeah.
these are 3MS, right? And the same subject, me. Okay. This one is Cal perfect, 3MS. This one is cal, imperfect. So I'm glad you noticed that. This is going to be something I was going to talk about here. Why do you think the perfect is used here?
In the first example,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in some. Mi, sam, pe, la, adam.
That happens in creation.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
It's a passive noun, yeah.
This is something that God has made as the normal course of all of human history, right? God has given all of humanity a mouth. He did it at the beginning. This is sort of like a given. But then, every now and then, we have people who show up with mouths that don't work and with eyes that don't work. You see? And this, I think, the imperfect then is used for that because, you kind of get that on a case-by-case basis and you can construe that as something that happens
And is ongoing.
here and there as
Indeterminate.
opposed to what God determined way back then.
But it's an indeterminate in the
Mhm.
fact that you don't know when it will happen.
Right, right. So who, places, puts, makes this kind and this kind and this kind and this kind. Now, go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You want to make one
Well,
comment?
I was just thinking that, like, theologically here, it's kind of interesting because he's not saying that these people are. I don't know. It's like kind of like you kind of go back to the idea of beautifully and well made.
Mm-hmm.
How these people are still. I don't know. I was just thinking about the how we're all beautiful and well made in the image of God.
Yeah.
And how disability does not preclude you from being beautiful and
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now, were you going to say something, Kyle?
It was me.
Okay.
I was going to say, are we using these adjectives nominally?
Oh, now this is a good question. And I did want to talk about the grammatical structure here, so I'll do that in a moment,
Okay.
unless anybody else had a comment.
I did have
Yeah.
Is it not will make? Could it not be will make?
It could, objectively speaking, the imperfect could be future. But it also can be present tense for things that are normal and habitual sorts of activities too. And I think that's probably the idea here. Who made a mouth for man, basically, and then who, as a matter of course, in the day-to-days of life, who makes them this way and this way.
It was me, but it's okay.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk real quickly about this verb some and its valency. Okay. What do we know about the valency pattern of this verb? The lexical form, remember, is always the cal infinitive construct, which is either sum or seem. We tend to have these treated as both middle vav and middle yod here. Here you can see the middle vav form, and other times you would see yasim for the cal imperfect. So just be aware of that. But what's the valency pattern? This is trivalent. Okay. Generally, the sort of prototypical translation of seem and sum is what? To place or put. So you have a person who places or puts, a direct object that you place or put, and then a location. But that trivalency also gets stretched into other sorts of
like when making
things, right? So to make someone be something, right? To appoint someone to something. Here, it seems to be to appoint or give a mouth to man.
You have a direct object
and then an indirect object. Or perhaps this could be a beneficiary, Lamed, who sets a mouth for the benefit of man, meaning who makes one for him or who gives it to him. Now, knowing the valency pattern, when you get to the next yasum here, you should be asking, this is trivalent verb. How many participants do I have? Me is the subject. That's number one, right?
Who is me?
And then I have Elaim. This is a compound that goes all the way here. So that really is a second one, and a third one is missing, or the second one's missing and the third one's here. So what do we do with that?
With the one that's missing?
You can take the adjectives as a sort of predicate accusative and then have an implied like man.
Exactly.
That's a man.
Exactly. Because we do have man up here already made active, right? So it could be something like, who makes man dumb or deaf or seeing or blind? See that? And then, so he's asked this rhetorical question, and then he says, hello, God.
Yeah.
Get it? Hello? Hello?
Like the
Alright.
old TV
We'll get
show,
it next
like the old
time.
British TV show.
Yup.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
Hello, guy.
Okay, good.
Am I not Yahweh?
Hello? Okay. So, verse 12, and we go to Kyle. How long is this? Oh, that's short, Kyle. Why don't you do 3 verses just to make up for that?
What?
Go ahead.
Oh. And now, go.
Mm-hmm.
And I, myself, will be with your mouth, and I will teach you what you were saying,
Okay,
what you should say.
good. I will teach you what you should say or speak. All right. Any questions? Parsing help anyone? You guys are all experts in FBA now, right?
Should Anohi be taken emphatically? I saw it somewhere else down the line in the verse.
Which one?
Anohi, because you don't really, it's not necessary grammatically.
Mm-hmm.
Emphatic, like I will be with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It is not semantically required, so the use of the pronoun here probably is trying to draw some attention to it. So, in other words, he's saying, now, you do this, and I'll do this. Right? Your responsibility is to go, and mine is to go with you, to be present with you, or to be present with your mouth. Can we parse the ho re ticha? That may be a little bit difficult.
It's from your rock.
Yada.
So my roots, yara. Good.
Too common. I
Yeah.
know another word for teach.
Yara.
So it must be Hitfil with that hay.
So you have a hifil hey. What seeing the holom vav here tells you that yod was originally a vav. This is a one vav verb. The hifil hey will often give me that holom vav there.
It's
So-
WCP.
Hifil. Yep, I've got the T ending here for the perfect conjugation, but a vav in front.
Yeah.
So that's looking
WCP-ish.
WCP-ish. The T tells me it's which person doing it,
It's one
one CSness. And then the ka here is a
suffix.
pronoun suffix, and that's my direct object, which is to ms-ish.
So yes.
So
Instruct you.
I will teach. Whom?
You.
You. Okay, I will teach you. Good.
Then you have a PL right after, or you skip a word. You have PL. Imperfect PL.
Yep, there's the PL imperfect.
Yeah.
And that's to ms, right?
Devar.
What
Does
you
Devar
should say.
only appear in the PL?
There are a few cal occurrences.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, I think there's more than one, but just a handful. And there, I believe it's in the cal participle, the cal active participle.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should expect this in the PL, and we get.
I
it here.
noticed like in every single this word appears a lot. I think it's in every verse from what we translated almost, and that it's always PL.
Yeah. You should expect it in the PL.
I know the present participle is medaber.
The participle,
Yep.
the PL participle is medaber,
Yeah,
and in the cal it's dover.
yeah.
Dover.
Dover, England.
Yeah. Now here's the question. You guys know I love this question. What is the asher's function here? Is it a nominalizing or a relativizing asher?
Nominalizing.
Okay, if that's nominalizing, what he's saying is, and I will teach you that you should speak.
The thing is,
I will teach you the fact that you shall speak, should speak.
Teach you
that you will say.
No,
the
it
things which you should.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, so it's
Relative.
really a relative, asher, not a nominalizing, and the head is unstated. It's a null head relative clause. I will teach you the thing which you shall speak. Okay?
So there's no head.
Yes, there's no head.
It's edges. Okay.
You shall say.
So we're still struggling with this,
Yes,
aren't we?
are. I don't know.
But that's okay. It took me 20 years to figure it out. I'm just kidding. No, not that one, but it did take me a while to even figure out that was something to think about. Okay, verse 13. And Noel, you want to do that? That's nice and short.
Okay, and he said, "Please, my Lord, send." Let's see, that's a.
Oh, this is so juicy
Oh,
and sweet.
it's,
I love this one.
Can't you send? I don't see somebody else there, but that's the way many translations have it.
Uh-huh. What's that?
Oh, I said send
It's that
send
phrase.
by the hand. If you translate it super literally, it's please send by the hand which you will send. And that doesn't make a whole
Well,
lot
there's
of
not even a literal which.
Yeah. You kind of have
you
to
do
add
have
which in
an
there.
of.
It says
It is in construct.
please
Uh-huh.
send by the hand you will send.
Okay.
He's saying like whomever. He kind of insults the Lord here.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying he's basically saying in a roundabout way,
Don't do it. Don't let me do it. Don't
Yeah.
let me do it.
Send someone else.
you know, it's okay. You can send somebody else.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. We didn't talk about this when Yvonne translated his and he sneaked out, so I wouldn't have to ask him, right? What in the world do we do with this?
Article of entreaty.
Okay, yeah, this is an interesting Beth prepositional phrase that we haven't seen until we got here.
By your leave.
This is ask from me.
Yeah, it's
It's not from the Beth. It's a different, isn't it?
Does that have
Well, it's different in my
international-
dictionary. But it's,
how does your what is
so
your
you have
dictionary
the
do?
bait, and then this B is a particle of entreaty.
Mhm.
It says so
Mhm.
like.
Oh,
please,
okay,
or I
so
pray thee, Lord.
Yeah, the Hebrew
It
Bible
has its
says
own.
so they're not analyzing this as the Beth plus the Kirik Yod
No.
first common
they say
singular.
that it's an adverb, meaning by your leave.
Ah, okay, I see. Yeah, I didn't take the time to really go back and try to analyze the morphology of it. I just found it in the lexicon with a gloss, by your leave. It's like, okay, well, then we'll certainly use that. It would be interesting to try to find out, is there any way to split this atom and really see this as some odd use of the preposition bet plus the first common singular pronoun. But we've now seen it twice here. And if I'm not mistaken, you'll see this when Abraham is interacting with God and being bold to ask him as well about sparing the people in Sodom and Gomorrah.
So this is just kind of one of those things that you just kind of have to know and translate. You
Mhm.
can't necessarily like analyze it and
Right.
break it down into its constituent
Right.
parts.
Right. And we're not even sure that the constituent parts
You are
are
actually there.
bet, prep, and 1CS.
Maybe there's something that just
Yeah. Now, shalach here, what form of shalach is this? Shalach.
Imperative.
Oh, that's an imperative.
Yep. And it's in the cal because we have no
Prefix.
prefixing from the other stems, right?
Yep.
So where do we have prefixes in the imperative? Those of you who are so good at your principal parts page. So the hifil and hofal would have the hays. The nifal would have a hay prefix, hippocade. Okay? It's the cal, piel, and pual that have no prefixing for the imperative.
Yeah.
Okay? But what would the PL's root one vowel be?
The
A.
an A class.
It'd be A class. Yafakade. Chop off the head, and you've got pake. The puals would be what vowel class under root one? U class. Yafukad. Chop off. There would be, if there were a hofal imperative, would be, or excuse me, if there were a pual imperative, would be pukad, right? And then the cal is just the vocal shava normally. Because you chop off the prefix, yishlach becomes shalach, right? Shama, yishma becomes shema. Why is there an A-class vowel here? Because normally pakad, yifkod, pakod, I normally have a holem theme vowel, guttural. Roots 2 and roots 3, when they're guttural, Like what vowel class? A class. No personal ending here, so this is cal imperative to MS. So send. Now let's figure out what in the world is going on here.
By your hand.
Send by. This
By the hand.
is. What's the lexical form of this word that the bet is attached to?
Yod.
It's yod with the kamets. That's the lexical form. See the vowel point here? By yod. So by the hand of. Send by the hand of. Tishlach. Send by the hand of, you will send. Now, how should we analyze this?
It sounds like
Mark
it's missing
Rothschild.
missing a whom or some kind of reference.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So how about we treat this as having two null elements? The head and the relative word. After hand. Send by the hand of one which you will send. Send by the hand of one which or who you will send. This is null-headed
If it's
and null relativizer, which we have also described as ascendetic. Remember that? Ascendetic relative clause. And then that will allow us to make sense of the words together.
So bayad is not a constituent of shlachna. In the sense of send by your hand, I pray.
Yeah, it is adverbial. Like this is a prepositional phrase that modifies shalom.
Okay, so the whole thing.
So the whole thing's an adverbial
Isn't that
prepositional
what
phrase.
yeah.
So send by means of the hand of someone whom you will send.
So if the bet is not translator, sorry, but instrumental there.
Mm-hmm.
This is saying send someone else maybe
Mhm.
by someone else also. This makes it sound like two other, like the act of sending should be done by the hand of a third party that we're not given.
Yeah, what I think he's doing here is saying send. So the by here has to do with the sending, but the expression "the hand of someone" is an expression of agency. So if you remember, the word of God came by the hand of Haggai the prophet, for example. It came through the intermediation. So what he's saying is, use someone else as an intermediary here. The by the hand of is by the hand of some other person whom you
Like
would
send
send.
your word, your message by someone else
Mhm.
by the hand of this person.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's the idea.
Could we kind of boil down by the hand of to say send just another person, because the by the hand is a phrase for just
Yeah.
the instrumental use of the person in general.
I think so.
That makes good sense.
I think so. Okay, good. Let's continue on here. Boy, we've only done 3 verses, huh? No, wait, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, we've done 4. I feel better. Okay, verse 14, and how many lines do we have? We have 3 lines. So I'm going to split it right down the middle here. So, Matthew, you can go to Halevi.
Okay.
And then Eliza, you can go to Yadati, from Yadati to the end.
And Yahweh grew angry with Moses, and he said, "Is not Aaron your brother the Levite?"
Okay, good. I have some questions about how to understand this copular expression as far as what's the subject and what's the subject, complement, or predicate. But we'll just keep going here for a moment and then we'll backtrack to it.
I know that he can speak, and also, behold, he is coming out to meet you, and he will see you and rejoice in his heart.
Okay, excellent. Good translation there. Let's talk about this part. And he said, quote, this is where the quotation ends. What's the ha here? Interrogative, hey. So let's just drop it off and translate this without the interrogative. Lo Aharon Ahicha Halevi.
Aaron is not the Levite.
Yeah.
Aaron
Aaron, your brother.
Or Aaron is not your brother, the Levite.
Okay. Aaron is not your brother, the Levite.
Aaron, your
the
brother,
Levite
is not the brother.
Is not Aaron your brother, the Levite? Is not Aaron the Levite your brother?
Okay.
The Levite's kind of a
It's kind of movable.
I would like if I were, I would put it after Aaron almost. Aaron the Levite, your like comma
Mm-hmm.
the Levite, comma your brother.
Now, it depends on what the stress is going to fall on here. Does the stress fall on your brother or the Levite? That's the question.
The accent falls on.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about the cement.
Sure,
the
but
syntactic
word placement here would have taken that.
Yeah. What's the problem here? Has Aaron been discussed throughout this narrative? So we don't know which concept is the, like normally in a copular construction, we already have a discourse active topic that we're going to make a comment about. Okay? This is what you might refer to as a thadic construction. I'll write that down, thadic. And in a thadic construction, all the information is new. So, once upon a time there was a princess, for example. So we don't have any discourse active content before that sentence. Everything's new. So, when in the Gospels it says, a certain lawyer came. We don't know anything about him, right? There once was a man from Uz, his name was Joe, right? There once was a man from Uz, is thadic. It introduces a completely new context. And then the second sentence now then uses the pronoun, because now Job has been introduced, then you can say his name was Job. And then Job is the new information in the copular construction. His name is the discourse active topical subject of that informative statement. So, we have a copular clause with no copula, as is common in Hebrew. So is Aaron the topic, and who Aaron is the informative information? Or is the brother perhaps the topic, and what he's doing is making a statement about the identity of the brother?
Is not
In other words, is he trying to say, let's leave out the Levite for a moment.
is not your brother Aaron?
Isn't it the case that your brother is Aaron? Or isn't it the case that Aaron is your brother?
Yeah. Well, Aharon by itself wouldn't make much sense since it's not active, but keeping, even though it's separated by a word, keeping Halevi is really important, I think, because then that adds title, right? Ruth the Moabitess, Aaron the Levite, kind of then places in the discourse a presumably understood, well-known figure, which then would group those together and separate them from the brother, which should probably be new information, because you both presume Aaron the Levite is something known.
Possibly. The difficulty here is that Aaron, if the Levite is an appositional phrase and anchored to Aaron, it's been separated by Ahiha, your brother. And that does make this challenging, doesn't it? So,
It would seem that Hiha would be the most important identification, and Ha-Levi could also be important, that he indicates that he's in leadership, and that may be a reason why they would be willing to listen to him.
Yeah, the definite marker on Ha-Levi almost makes me think that it goes on its own side of the equation, if you will.
Well, I think that's the only thing that can make it definite.
Yeah.
Whereas everything else is already.
The Levite.
So, but what I'm saying, yeah, it's got to go on the other side because because it has the explicit definite marker. It seems like it's more definite than Aharon Ahi.
yeah. Though this is the difficulty. So when you have, and this is a problem in Greek as well, you can have a missing copula, right? A me could be missing in Greek. Both of them, the subject and the predicate nominative, are going to be the nominative case. And you have to make a judgment. Which one's the subject and which one's the predicate, right? And usually there's a pecking order. The definite noun is the subject, and the indefinite noun or adjective is the predicate. What do we have here? Well, Aharon is a proper noun. That's definite. Ahiha is a suffix noun. That's definite. Halevi has a definite article, right? So this throws all of it out, and because we have no mention of Moses having a brother or Aaron or any Levites in the immediately preceding discourse, we can't go on topicality either, and that makes this a real challenging thing to
Well,
sort
we do
through.
have background information that Moses is a Levite because it says a man from the house of Levi took a daughter of the house of Levi,
Yeah,
and they had Moses.
and that was way back, right?
Right.
That was
So
way
we've
back.
got that at least buried back in the distance. So is the question here, is this a title, or is this just a statement of that he's a Levite?
Yeah. This is really thorny. So it may not be that there is a narrative context for it in the immediate. You have that at the beginning of chapter 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is perhaps the writer assuming that is this a reader-oriented context?
I really
Where,
think it is.
where it's that the reader would know
Yeah.
who these
That's the reason
titles
I
refer to.
give it.
Reader-oriented
So.
context.
And so we'll
And who would say the Levite?
yeah.
There's
Right.
the other question that's
Right.
more specific.
Mm-hmm.
Is not Aaron, your brother, a Levite?
Right.
It's the Levite.
Right.
Without the ha, it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they need to go together.
Yeah. So
I am a joke.
I can't resolve it all.
Yeah.
But I suppose my own judgment is probably isn't your brother Aaron the Levite. That's the way I tend to want to read it, given what I know. You have a brother, but look, your brother is Aaron the Levite, and that guy's coming to you next.
So if you
And
were,
I'm going to use him.
so can you just give us like a one-line translation of how you would translate this phrasing right here? Because now I'm confused.
Yeah. So and the anger of Adonai burned against
Sweet.
Moses, and he said, "Isn't your brother Aaron the Levite?"
Okay.
Okay.
So you have the general, and then you go to the specific.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Name and occupation or slash.
Yeah, there has to be some, even with indefiniteness, even within the concept of definiteness, there has to be gradations of definiteness.
I'm just saying.
The question is, what is
Well,
it?
yeah, and if you did the Deuteronomy class with me, Jason DeRushi talks about a decline of definiteness
I remember that.
for this sort of thing.
If you
I remember.